Hey guys, how's it going? It's Molly. I'm here today to do a chatty get ready with me to explain where I've been. It's been about 7 weeks, I think, since I've uploaded anything. So I wanted to go ahead and just sit down and talk about what's new. For today's look, I'm going to be using a combination of palettes. I'm using Rose Quartz and Mercury Retrograde, both by Huda Beauty. I don't know if I'll do too much talking about what shadows I'm using or what products I'm using though, just because I can't multitask. So that's truly the bulk of the reason. But the look that I'm going to be doing, I'm trying to recreate this look that I saw on Instagram, and I cannot remember the account that posted it, but I am going to see if I can go back and look and see, and I will link that information in the description box. So fear not, it should be there. Okay, I'm getting all of my products out while I should be priming my eyelids though, because that's important. Oh, I hope the lighting is okay. It's really, really overcast, and I've just got, yeah, it's fine. It's not the best, but it's okay. I just got my ring light and then like my house lights. I didn't want to bring up and set up my box lights just because it takes so long. And my toddler is sleeping still, and I'm hoping that he will stay asleep throughout this. Otherwise, there's going to be a massive jump cut. Oh, it'll be fine. Okay. So let's see. It was like the beginning of March when I posted something last, I think. I was hoping to pre-plan before all of these things happened, and it just didn't work out that way. We went on vacation the middle of March, so that was a part of why I wasn't around. Anyway, okay, so we took a trip. That was like major filming impediment part 1, right? So let's just talk about that. We took a family trip to Mexico. We went to the Maya Riviera, or Riviera Maya. I've heard it said both ways. We stayed at a resort. What was it called? Barcelo Maya Resort. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. So it was myself and then it was my whole family. It was all of us. It was my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, his wife, their kids, me, my husband, and our kids. And we had an incredible time. Hang on. I feel like I should explain a little bit about the look. So the look that this girl was doing, I believe she was inspired by the look of like crystals or quartz. I can't remember. And so the first shade that I'm going to go in with is this like teal shade in Mercury Retrograde called Haze. And I'm going to take this on the outer corners. Okay, anyway. So we stayed at this resort. It was an all-inclusive resort. I had never done all-inclusive anything ever in my entire life. And it was just mind-boggling. Like, anytime I wanted a drink, I just went to the bar and grabbed a drink. Not that I'm a heavy drinker, but that was I drank more on that vacation than I ever do in normal life. So, 2 or 3 drinks a day, probably. But never to the point of like feeling intoxicated. I don't know. Nobody cares, but if I feel like I want to drink to the point of intoxication, I only do that when I don't have my kids around. It just feels weird to me otherwise. I want to like have my wits about me in case somebody tries something, I guess. I don't know. Let's just get back to the story. So, okay, and then in the Rose Quartz palette, I'm taking Happiness, this like mid-tone pink. Anyway, what was I talking about? Total brain fart. I'm not entirely sure where I was going. Oh, all-inclusive. Yeah. So it was an all-inclusive resort. That was incredible. It took so much of the stress of just everyday existence out of the equation because we didn't have to think about where we're going to eat. We didn't have to worry about how much we were spending on what we were eating. Like, it was just so easy. Oh, my kid is awake. Oh, man. So that was really, 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 really nice. I'm going to talk a little bit quieter so he doesn't, like, hear me. He's okay right now in his crib. Anyway, that was incredible. We had so much fun. I would say the one thing that I regret is that I didn't research enough about the resort prior to going. So there were some situations, like there were some just different things that we wanted to do and we didn't get to do them because they were full. We went the week of spring break, and I mean, I guess I should have kind of figured that that was going to be a hectic time, and I should have known that it was a good idea to book excursions and activities like the day we got there. But we seriously spent like the first 2 days just in awe of the grounds. We were right on, so Riviera Maya is on like the Caribbean side of the Yucatan Peninsula. So we were right there. We had the beach was right there. We were right on the beach. And it was so, so nice. There was one morning I got up early and I went down to the beach and I read a book, and that was so relaxing. And it was kind of funny. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and there was already this like group of probably 15 to 20 college girls who spent, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I do have a pretty strong opinion that when you are, not a strong opinion, I have the opinion that when you are somewhere and you're experiencing something amazing and beautiful, like, enjoy it. You don't have to spend that entire time taking selfies. I kid you not, they were in the ocean for 45 minutes just filming themselves. And that's fine. Maybe they are TikTok famous. I don't know. I don't know these people. But there was a part of me that was like, oh, come on, just enjoy it. But at the same time, like, who really cares? They weren't hurting anything, and I'm just a grumpy old lady. So it's fine. But, yeah. So anyway, we had just an amazing time. It was so nice, not just like being on vacation, but being on vacation with my whole family. That's something that we have done it one other time. We went to Oklahoma, which is, that was just more about like spending time together. It wasn't a destination thing. I'm probably going to have to film some of this with my child, like, out here. Just a heads up. And he'll just be sitting in his chair, eating his oatmeal, doing his thing, and it'll be fine. He'll be probably talking and maybe a little grumpy, but hopefully not too grumpy. So anyway, we had such a nice time. That's all I can really say about that. I will say things did take a turn the second to last day. I'm going to put my hair up really quick. The second to last day, my toddler came down with, he woke up with a fever that morning. I just realized the mic was like right up by my mouth. So if that audio was annoying, my apologies. Anyway, so second to last day, last full day there, my toddler woke up with a fever. I was like, oh crap. So and this was a day that I was going to try parasailing and some of those activities that I was really wanting to do, which we wouldn't have been able to do anyways because they were booked. That was definitely one that we needed to book in advance, but they told us that we didn't have to, so we didn't. Anyway, they told us just go down to the pier when you want to parasail. Okay, so that's what we did. Anyway, bad advice. So we woke up, we get ready. He's not feeling good, but he was okay, you know. But we woke up, we got ready, we went down to the pier, found out that we couldn't parasail, so that was cool. But just in that amount of time, he like went downhill quick. He does this thing when he has a fever. After this experience, I realized that it's just his response to a fever, but he gets like tachycardic. So his heart rate was like 195. It was high. I didn't know that at the time. I found out later, which I'll explain. And he has shortness of breath when he has a fever. He breathes like really quick and shallow. So anytime they have, I think it's like 40 or more breaths a minute, like that can be an emergent situation. So in February, he did this same thing. He came down with a fever and same thing, high heart rate, fast, shallow breathing. And his doctor was like, you need to take him to the ER. So I did. I'd never had to take either of my kids to the ER before. And then, but like once we got his fever under control, he was fine. But I didn't realize that that's what made him fine. I wasn't connecting the dots. So anyways, here we are in a foreign country. He's doing the same stuff. And so I call for a doctor. The resort has like a doctor on staff. And I go back to the room, wait for the doctor. My husband was with my mom and sister, and they were gonna go check out like this wave pool. So I go back to the room with him, and my husband wanted to come with me, but I said absolutely not. Like there was this other excursion that he had to stay at the resort for. Like we went and saw Mayan ruins, and he stayed back with my toddler because there wasn't room for a car seat in the van. That was a whole other thing. Mayan ruins were absolutely amazing, by the way. If you find yourself in Mexico by Mayan ruins, do the excursion. Pay the money. It's awesome. So anyways, I took him back to the room, and he was lethargic. It was pretty scary, not gonna lie. And so I took him, the doctor came, she assessed him, and she was like, he's not well. We need to call for an ambulance. So she called the paramedics, and they came. We took an ambulance to the hospital in Playa del Carmen. And at this point, my husband came back to the room, and he was with us. Even though I insisted, I was like, you don't need to do that. Hang on, I just realized I don't have my brushes up here for my like face. So I'm gonna go grab those. Okay, the camera got all wonky. I had to readjust some things, so don't worry. It's fine. Anyways, I might be a different angle at this point, but I just want to get this done before he gets upset. So anyway, my husband at this point he was like, well, I'm coming. So he left the wave pool, which he didn't even get to do because they were doing like private lessons. Like the two things that he really wanted to do, he didn't get to do. But anyway, I just keep saying, but anyway, I'm feeling rushed. I need to just calm down. So he came along, we went to the hospital, and again, it was like as soon as they got his fever under control, he was fine. They tested him for flu and COVID, but nothing else. And both of those were negative. It ended up that it was hand, foot, and mouth. The day that we left, so the next day, he started developing blisters on his hands, and I was like, oh, this isn't right. And he had like a rash all over his body. And yeah, I took him to our pediatrician here, and he was like, yeah, it's hand, foot, and mouth. So, which I had never experienced with my oldest. I didn't know. But so at the hospital in Playa del Carmen, they took such good care of us. It was wonderful. Like, I mean, you never know. I feel like here in the US, you grow up hearing such horror stories about Mexico. I don't know if that's typical for people or if it's just like this deep-seated racism in the Midwest. But, you know, I remember hearing stories about people killing toddlers and using their bodies to smuggle drugs and like just crazy, crazy stuff that I don't know. Obviously, that doesn't happen often, if it happened at all, or if it was just a scare tactic. But I mean, I was young and impressionable. And even though, like, you know, you just grow up hearing things. So anyway, it was really nice. And one of the things I was worried about was like a breakdown in communication, because I am not a fluent Spanish speaker. Like I can speak enough to find out where my pants are, where the bathroom is, and to ask people how they are. That's essentially, I mean, I know a little bit more than that, but yeah, I'm not fluent. And it was kind of funny because I would ask, like, we would go into the buffet or whatever, and the host would say, hola, and I'd say, hola, ¿cómo estás? And then they would just say all this stuff. And I was like, cool. No sé. No sé. But I tried to speak as much as I could. And it was really, I actually really enjoyed that part, was like kind of reconnecting with my long lost Spanish skills, because I took 2 years in college and 2 years in high school. So you'd think that I would know more. I feel like it's buried in my brain somewhere. I just don't know where. Anyway, so at the hospital, our doctor was fluent in English, which I'm sure, which makes sense. It's like, it's a huge, you know, tourist destination. I'm sure that's, you know, a very marketable skill is to be able to speak English. So, yeah. Anyway, everything was fine. They got his fever under control. He was good. His heart rate came back down to like 130, 135. His breathing was normal. We left. We came back to the resort, had dinner, had a really nice dinner. Actually, that was one of the things. So you can reserve dinner at some of their nicer restaurants. There's always buffet service, so you can always go and get like a buffet. And their buffets are massive, and they have so much food. Like, I really didn't feel the need to go anywhere else, but it was like an option. Anyways, when we went and talked to customer service on this second or third day, I can't remember what, that we were there, we were booking our meals, and we could only do 2. We just had such a big party that it was really hard to like find space for us. So anyways, we could only do like 2, like sit down, dine in, like reds. We could only, what am I trying to say? We only had the ability to do two restaurant meals. My God, that's really hard for me to say, and I don't know why. My brain doesn't want to work. Anyway, so we opted, the one night it was just me, my husband, my brother, and his wife. We did like a double date at a French restaurant that was really nice. We ate so much food. Like 5 courses. It was crazy. And then the night that we were at the emergency room, that's when the whole family was supposed to go and have dinner. And we missed out on that, which was fine. It really wasn't a big deal. We ended up like sitting out on the patio right on the ocean at sunset, like just me, my husband, and our toddler, because my oldest was with the family. So yeah, it ended up being a really sweet evening, especially knowing that the baby was okay. And he was feeling so much better and was able to eat, and you know, it was fine. And I felt like sitting outside, we weren't, you know, we knew it wasn't COVID, you know what I mean? Like, so I felt like this is fine. We can go sit at a restaurant, especially outside, and he's not touching anything. He just stayed at the table and wasn't around anybody. So anyways, normally I do not take my child who is sick out in public, but it is what it is. So what else happened? So that was that. Then the next day we flew out. We flew from Cancun to Denver. And my mom worked with a travel agent to get this all situated. She booked the trip through a travel agent is what I'm trying to say. I'm so rusty. It's crazy. And, oh, he's hitting me with the mama. I gotta wrap this up. Anyways, booked the trip with a travel agent. That travel agent seemed to think that less than 2 hours was enough time to get through customs in Denver on spring break week. It is not enough time. Not even close. So we missed our connecting flight. And because it was spring break, the only other flight that they had, the next available flight that they had to seat, at this point, it was just my dad, my mom, my sister, and then us four. Because my brother and his wife and family live in Austin, so they were not flying into Denver. They flew into Houston and then to Denver or something. It was fine. No, Houston to Austin. Anyways, so it was just us. The next time that they could get flights for all of us, or any flights, even some of us, was Tuesday. Now this was Friday of spring break week. So it was the following Tuesday that they were going to get us out of Denver. No, that doesn't work. I didn't have vacation time to do that. So then we were like, well, we're just going to have to rent a car and drive back, which that's fine. It's like an 8-hour drive, or according to Google Maps, it's 6 hours. So we thankfully were able to find some of the last rental cars available because again, spring break. And my parents and sister went in one and we went in the other, and we made it. We ended up, they put us in a hotel that night because by the time we got this all straightened out, it was like 10 o'clock at night. My poor baby had been in a car seat or a stroller all day long because I can't just let him run around one of the busiest airports in the country. So he was not doing well. I felt so bad for him, and plus he doesn't feel good, and it was just a mess. But anyway, we ended up staying in a hotel, and then the next morning we left, and that 6-hour drive took us 12 hours. We just took our sweet time though, because we both felt so bad for our youngest, because he was over it. He was done, especially because like I said, the day before he was just restrained all day long. We ended up like putting him, or we just ended up stopping every hour or two. We stopped at a park in like a little town in Colorado for lunch. We grabbed some sandwiches from Jimmy John's, and we were there for an hour and a half probably, just running around having a good time. So, and then yeah, we just every time we stopped at a like decent sized town, we would stop and get out and run around and let him play, because at that point I was like, I don't care what time we get home, I just want him to not hate road trips at this point. So that's kind of how that went. Okay, I think for lips, I'm going to use the Ritual Defee blush, because why not? Hang on, Zeke, I'm coming. So that essentially that was that part of why I've been gone. The other part is we remodeled our kitchen, and that took 3 weeks. And so I had nowhere to film. I had no way to film. It was kind of crazy. So yeah, we just, wow, that's really dry. And it tastes terrible. I'm going to put this Ophir gloss on top. So yeah, the kitchen remodel took 3 weeks, and we stayed at my parents' house, And that was a godsend because they knocked out a wall, and drywall dust gets everywhere. Oh my gosh. So it was a lot. Okay, so this is the finished look. I freaking love this eye look. It is so like springy, and it makes me really, really happy. And it is not a springy day here. It's overcast and like 40 degrees and drizzly. So my look does not match my environment, but that's fine. Okay, you guys, that's where I'm gonna leave today's video. I've got to go get this kid up. He has been more than patient and very, very sweet about relaxing in his crib while I finished up filming. So at any rate, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe. I do plan to get back to a more like regular schedule at this point. So, all right, bye guys.